Well, the rebel coalition now in charge of Syria has named a prime minister to lead a transitional government that'll be in place until the 1st of March. Mohammed al-Bashir, seen here on the right of the picture, is seen here in a meeting with the man he'll replace. That's Mohammed Jalali, seen on the left. Mr. Jalali had been President Assad's prime minister and has agreed to hand over power to the rebel-led government. Let's get more from journalist Ossama Muhammad, who joins us from Qamishli in northeastern Syria. Welcome back, Ossama. Tell us more about Mohammed al-Bashir. Who is he?
Thank you for having me again. Mohammed al-Bashir is one of the most closer personals for the al-Julani. He's originally from Azawiya mountain in the countryside of Idlib. He was graduated from the engineering and electronic college in Aleppo in 2007, and then he did his bachelor from the Idlib University in Sharia. He was working in the development department or ministry for the Salvation Government, Syrian Salvation Government, alongside the Julani, which was established by the Julani in Idlib. And then in 2004, he was nominated to be the prime minister for the Salvation Government. Afterward, now, as you see too, and as you mentioned, he was nominated and elected by Julani to lead the transitional government for the Syria now.
OK, so he clearly no novice when it comes to running a government, having run this Salvation Government in Idlib. Can we look at that government in Idlib as a sort of prototype for what the rest of Syria can expect?
Well, if you go through the details of this government, we could see that there was a lot of compliance, dissatisfactions of the people about the action and, the services which this government was providing. For the public services, there was a lot of compliance from the people who were living in Idlib. However, this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is the politics and the policy and laws which this government was imposing in Idlib related to the restrictions of the freedom of the personal expression of the personal religious or how people can attack in the community. Let's say there was a law which is called public morality law, which was making a lot of restrictions on the women, on the people, on the mix between the male and female. So mostly their politics or their policies were coming from radical Sharia orders.
OK, so that sounds quite a hard line, and it sounds at odds with the sort of pluralistic society that the HTC says it's trying to build now in Syria.
That's right. What we could see after this guy was selected by Julani, a lot of feedbacks from journalists, from academia, and civilian activists in Syria say, this is not what we were looking for. We are looking for a new secular, new democratic, new modern system. We are not looking to apply the same system of Idlib for the whole Syria now. So I'm pretty sure that most of the views about selecting of this prime minister to lead the new transition government are coming to be negative.
OK. That as we will talk again. Thank you for now, though, journalist Ossama Muhammad. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's bring in Fawaz Gerges here. He's a professor of Middle Eastern politics and international relations at the London School of Economics. Thanks for being with us. Professor, what do you make of the moderate tone that the HTS leader, the main rebel group leader, has now adopted, given his militant Islamist roots? Should we believe him when he says he will seek unity and respect the rights of minorities in Syria?
Well, I like what he says. I want to believe what he says, that this is a new Syria, that the revolution are all for the entire Syrian nation, no revenge, an inclusive and government that takes into account the diversity of Syria. So far, so good. But of course, we have to wait and see how his words translate into action. Here is my take on Abu Muhammad al-Julani. Abu Muhammad al-Julani is a cunning, nimble, calculating, dynamic leader. He is too powerful for his own good and for Syria. My take on it is that he is leading from the front. Hay'at Tahrir al-Sham, which he leads, is the most effective and the most powerful group within the opposition coalition. So my question is that this man, who has come a long way from the killing fields of Iraq to Syria since 2012, will he be able to shed his ideology of Salafi jihadism and join the new Syria where secularist, nationalist, centrist women are all part of the government? I mean, I think, I hope and I pray that somehow the new Syria will basically does not resemble the old Syria. But of course, it's too early to tell at this stage.
Well, Syria right now is deeply divided and has been for a long time. There's a power vacuum right now. How great is the risk, would you say, that infighting will ensue and Syria will become a failed state?
Well, you know, so far, we really are all impressed how little political violence has taken place in the past 2 weeks. Very few executions. We have not really seen any kind of mass murder or collective revenge or burning of state institutions. In fact, we've seen the opposite. More and more Syrians are rallying and they are rejoicing in their freedom, in their new freedom, after 53 years of brutal dictatorship. I think the big point for me, the first sign, and the most important sign, is how the rough coalition of opposition factions, you're talking about dozens of groups, whether they will be able to really sit down and agree on a transitional government. Any sign of infighting, any sign of fighting between or among the opposition groups could really spell trouble for the new Syria. The point to emphasize is that regardless of what kind of government is established in Syria, Hay'at Tahrir al-Sham will be the most decisive and the most powerful. And Abu Muhammad al-Julani will be the most powerful chief of the new Syria. This is a fact. And the reality is, I mean, where are the other opposition leaders? We don't see anyone except Abu Muhammad al-Julani. I want to see more and more of the nationalists and the centrist opposition leaders come forward and address the Syrian people.
Right. There are also many external actors that have been involved in Syria. Russia, of course, and Iran, both cooperating with the former Assad regime. Turkey is very much involved in Syria, particularly along its border region. The U.S. is there. Gulf states have been involved. What role do you see for external actors in Syria moving forward?
Well, one of the major players you did not mention is Israel. In the past few days, Israel has carried out hundreds of bombings of Syria. I mean, this tells you a great deal. How could the Syrians really begin the process of state building and nation building and transitional government, where a neighboring country basically destroys its entire armed forces, So the reality is, I mean, geopolitical powers could really intervene and basically impede the process of transition. I hope that the international community, the United States and Western powers, play a major positive role in helping the Syrians transition to the new Syria.
Fawaz Gerges, Professor of Middle Eastern Politics and International Relations at the London School of Economics. Thank you very much for taking time to speak with us today.